Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new Bat Friends Adventures, episode number 101. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside the world champion, Joe. How's it going, Joe?
Just fucking super. I'm gonna get the cursing out of the way real early.
So I got my first shot.
Oh yeah, you did. Now I don't remember. I think we did this off air, but I'm gonna bring it up on air. Remember how you had your shots scheduled, and I was like,
Yes.
"Yeah, but they're just handing them out now." Like I think I made this joke somewhere else. No, I made this joke last night privately, where it's like, I think you can go to McDonald's and get a shot with if you large size your meal. So you might get it earlier. And then what happened? You
Yeah.
got it earlier.
Well, everyone kept telling me was like, well, if you go here and you do this, you can get it earlier. I'm just like, that's too much work for something that I don't care that much about. And what ended up happening was that the local school district sent out an email. And my girlfriend just walks in the room like, hey, you want to get your shot done this week? I'm like, sure, whatever. And she did it all for me. And then all I had to do was, what's best is it was a drive-through.
Okay.
So it was done in our local highway department.
Okay.
And they just they emptied out the garages, and we all just drove through. They stuck us with a needle and then told us to go park somewhere for 15, 20 minutes.
Right. Make sure. Okay.
Yeah. And then, a couple people looking, because it was full of sticky notes saying, like, hey, you're good at 428 or whatever.
Yeah.
And when 428 came, a dude would come over and be like, you feeling okay?
Right. Good. I'm glad. Which shot did you end up getting?
I ended up being Moderna, which was the only disappointment.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You
I really,
people.
I really wanted that boner shot.
It's fantastic. It's okay. I'm going to bring people in a little bit. Two things. One, I think we've talked about it, but whatever. I'll say it for the sake of sanity. Chris said he doesn't care about it because we're not at risk. It's not that he doesn't care, because obviously he got the shot. Just to clarify that, even though I don't
Yeah.
think we get hate mail, right? We don't get hate mail yet, do we?
No, nobody cares enough about the shot.
Uh Two, I forget what two is. Oh, two was I made the joke about you Moderna people, because Penn has actually talked about it too, and it's fun where that's what they do, because two of them, I think, of their 4-man booth of their 4-man recording crew, two got Moderna, two got Pfizer, and so just as a joke, they would do the whole like, well, the team sports of it, like, oh, well,
Yeah.
Pfizer's better, but they don't actually care if they want everybody to get the shot, but it's just for a joke. So I don't actually care what you get as long as you get a shot. And if you don't get a shot, I don't care, but I do think less of you.
Yeah, my brother got the baby lotion one the other day.
I like the baby lotion one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he works for Walmart, and they got a whole bunch of them. And a friend of his actually works in the pharmacy and was like, "Hey, somebody dropped out. You want in?" I'm
Yeah.
like, put him in. He's like, "Sure, why not?"
Well, and I see that, especially that makes a lot of sense to me, especially where he works. It was right there, and the baby lotion one is just one and done. So I get that of like, hey, somebody dropped out. You want to get it? Sure. Fuck it. Not let it ride.
Well, from what I heard, they were doing that. They were, I think, I don't know the numbers in our area, but I think that the elderly and everything have been mostly taken care of. I'm sure it's not perfect, but
Sure. Right.
And what Walmart I know was doing around here was like trying to get their employees taken care of, which is the correct thing to do.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
So a lot of the employees have been getting the J&J, which is good. Like you said, I'm just glad people are getting it and that we can do this, because I've I've been mulling this over, because I understand completely if people aren't ready for this. We've had this conversation privately, but I'll have it publicly now. Um, but there is a con that is preparing for August, allegedly.
Right.
And I've been sitting there going, like, I kind of want to go to that.
Because I
But
saw your tweet, because
yeah.
my life's getting boring enough that I've actually been checking Twitter. Um, do you like? Can we talk about where is it?
Connecticut. It's the
Okay.
Terrificon.
So you would be driving there.
It would be, yeah,
I mean, that affects
6
things.
hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Because well, depending on where in Connecticut, because there's a good chance I'll be going to Connecticut for a much smaller thing, not a con, but like beginning of May and maybe end of May, I might be going down to Connecticut, and I think last time we did that drive from here, it was like 5.5.
Yeah. So yeah.
Depending on where you're going, but
I've never done it in one shot. I've done it so Mike, co-host of my other show, used to live in Mass, and I would drive to him
oh yeah,
and then drive out to Connecticut. But
gotcha,
you were
gotcha.
also kind of doing an L thing there. You weren't doing a straight shot.
Right. I
So I
understand.
know that was like 3 hours to get to Mass and probably 3 to 4 to get up to Connecticut. So I'm just kind of doing my math, thinking like, 6 hours. That sounds about right.
It's not. It's a fun. It's a decent drive. I mean, last time we did it, both times we did it in the dark. We did it after sunset, so we didn't get to see a lot. But it was a fine straight shot. So yeah, I mean, I get it, and it's Terrificon, so it's a smaller con too, like not local con, but it's not New York or
It's the biggest not. It's the biggest con you've never heard of.
right.
If that
Okay,
makes
yeah,
sense. Because like every year I look at it. So the one year we were supposed to go, we actually bought tickets, and they were going to do a screening of the original Batman movie, and then Adam West, Burt Ward were going to be there.
okay.
And we were actually at a different con in the same venue months before, and that's when Adam West passed.
Oh,
So we literally were just like, we lost our, window
yeah,
by months.
right.
But also just like, I don't even want to go anymore. Like that was kind of there was many reasons to go. It was early on in Fortress, but we just kind of both like went home that night, got drunk, and watched like old Adam West stuff, and we're like, fuck, like I don't even want to go to that thing anymore. But ever since then, I felt like we missed on something because every year I look at it, and everybody goes to that con.
Yeah.
Like if it's a comics pro, and I'm not saying uh, important Hollywood people, but the people who actually care about comics people go to it. So every year I'm just like, fuck, that'd be awesome to go to. It'd be awesome. And then last year we were ready as well. We were actually on the press list last year, and then the world collapsed. Uh, so now they just announced Rooker is going.
Mm,
And I was like, oh, this is happening. I looked at the dates, and it's the first weekend of August.
okay.
I was like, well, that's right on the edge of where I would feel comfortable.
Right.
And I'm just wondering if people are going to be comfortable with it or not. But we'll see. I don't know. It might not end up coming to fruition because of multiple things, but I've been like, I really want to go to a con.
Well, and that was what I was going to say. Is that's part of it too, where it's if you're driving to it, and is it a multi-day con or is it a one-dayer?
It's a multi-day. So what I would probably do is go to work Friday, drive down, stay in a hotel, do the Saturday con, and then either come back Saturday or stay another night and come back Sunday.
So that's what I was going to say. So because this is just how I look at it. Because you're driving down, you don't have to stay right where the con is. So you don't have to necessarily book a room months in advance because you can kind of maybe find something within an hour and a half, whatever, depending on how much you want to play. You know,
Yeah.
um, your investment theoretically is fairly low. So that's where I look at it as, I mean, keep it in your mind. I mean, I know you do anyway. So it's like, be aware of what's going on because I know Connecticut got hit a little hard when we still up here we were fine, but they ended up having some difficulties over the fall. So like they might have a different shifting numbers than we do, and who knows, even at that point. But it seems like it's something to realistically let yourself get excited for.
Yeah. I want to see who goes because if it's like I was kind of shocked with Rooker being the first announcement. Rooker's like a big enough celebrity where I'm just like, okay, people are actually interested in this.
Yeah.
And I was like, we'll see who goes. If we start getting like comics pros that I've always wanted to like connect with, in some way, then more likely I'm going to go. But take it week by week, see what
Yeah,
happens. I'm
and
just ready. I've been. The thing was is that our listeners may not know, the two of them, is that before COVID hit, we were actually on the verge of going back to cons. And because I had to take a year off to be an adult and help take care of my family, and then COVID hit, and I was just like, we had all these plans and all this like stuff stashed for it, ready to go, and then nothing, and we couldn't do anything because the whole world collapsed. So it's been more than just the last year that I've missed. It's been like 2 or 3 that I haven't gone to a con, like a proper con. So
what I was going to say that's actually very funny to anyone that's paid attention to me talking about shit is that will be 1 week after I go to Florida, probably, hopefully, potentially, to judge a HeroClix 3-day tournament. So I would still be going before you.
yeah, that's funny.
That we can talk about later, but
if you remember, bring that up after recording. I have a good story about that, but I don't want to share it on there.
That's fair.
And now that everybody's mad at me for saying that, let's talk about Cult of the Cat.
Woo!
So the story here is by Paul Dini and Stan Berkowitz. It is written by Stan Berkowitz and directed by Butch Lukic. All right, Joe. So I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1, play. I think I muted my TV.
We're going to find out.
Well, you would be hearing intense music right now if I didn't.
Yeah, no, I'm not hearing shit.
So, the Riddler. Because we're back in a maze.
Because we're in the labyrinth. We got Black Panther attacking her.
This episode's so bad.
Black Panther with fucking Wolverine claws. I think they went through a lot of Sharpies when they animated this one.
Yes. So this is going to be one of those episodes because this episode sucks. But I'm really happy, now that we're a week away, nobody can say spoilers to me. Fuck y'all. I'm really happy that the Zemo moment from Falcon Winter Soldier is memed now.
You mean
it's amazing.
The Zemo cut?
No, not that. The moment where like him and Bucky are just standing there watching the Wakandans kick the crap out of Walker, and Zemo's just like sipping the whiskey.
Yeah. I was out of time. I was forgetting when this was going to air. But the Zemo cut is also great, and fuck anybody that doesn't appreciate it.
That's fantastic for multiple reasons.
Yes.
I love sending it to all of my DC friends and being like, it didn't take us 3 years to get the Zemo cut.
So here's another reason why this episode annoys me a little bit. This episode starts to they're Nazis. Episode starts to get into that like Halle Berry Catwoman phase where it's like she has a mystical connection to cats and cats don't want to hurt her because there's like magic implicitly, which is dumb.
And multiple Black Panthers on crotch rockets really bug me too.
On fucking motorcycles. Because if there's one thing I know about ninjas, they fucking love crotch rockets and machine guns. That's like sanctified with blood. Like, just fuck this episode.
That's got Z-list comic written all over it. Crotch rocket Uzi ninjas.
With Wolverine claws. Because it's like, well, we can't do Wolverine. So let's do ninjas with his claws that ride motorcycles. There's no way there's still ammo in that clip. It's a fucking Uzi. That's a really small clip.
This is made by people in Hollywood. They don't know how guns work.
This is worth it, even though it's dumb. We're locksmiths. The masks are a fashion statement. I'll give them that. And the one thing I will also give this episode, even though it's shit, I like that they establish, like, Batman's doing his thing. Catwoman sees the Batmobile and is like, oh, he'll take care of me. Like, that, they should do that more. Because it's like, okay, yeah, they just happen upon each other. Organic storytelling rather than, world's greatest detective.
I just did a video, and one of the books I talked about was the new Batman the Detective book.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud of myself for this one. I made a comment about how, like, it'll be nice if the Batman the Detective book has him doing detective stuff, because, world's greatest detective never does detective shit. Even though I hear all the time from Batman friends, like, man, it'd be really cool if he did some detective stuff in the movies.
I'm waiting for the funny moment that I thought was super ridiculous because his tire's blown out and literally shreds off as the car re-rims its own tire, mounts its own tire.
Bruce, this is technology the world needs.
It's all technology that literally can't work. It's riding on the rim. There's no way to get another tire on it while the rim is in motion and hitting pavement. But
Another smaller tire comes down and lifts up just a little bit.
You would need a donut to lower and lift that side up while it then pushed out this rubber. Well, let's be fair. He should just have airless tires. I mean, we have airless tires in the real world now. He would have the technology then.
It's true.
It's some kind of cult. Some detective. Yes. Thank you. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, we must have traveled back in time and written this episode. Some kind of cult. Huh, some detective.
A Major League Psycho.
Yeah.
Jesus, this episode sucks. I just want to get to the Dark Knight one, and I don't even know if I want to anymore.
Like, we're just gonna get to it, and you can be like, "Oh no, this is bad." Like, yeah, it is.
Just skip to Beyond now.
This is hilarious to me.
I do appreciate that the cat cult place has giant lasers in it.
No, that's yeah. We're in the furnace. Okay. Well, I'm gonna try and get us out of here as fast as possible. Let's go. No, I'm gonna go slow because I'm a cat. You're in a furnace, motherfucker.
Selena, can you get the fuck out of my way?
Right. And then what's the first thing they do? Oh, hey, they're in the furnace. Let's just blow them the fuck up. Oh.
It's on brand. We already established they're Nazis.
What do we do? Oh, I know. Let's just do what I was going to do originally before you decided to be a bitch about it. Here, fucking come with me. And then it explodes, which wouldn't happen. Like, if it was going to explode, it would have exploded in the factory.
There's a lot of pressure at the top of that.
Right, yes. Like, this goes back to our other discussions about earning moments. That was an unearned moment. It's not because it's unrealistic, it's because it's unearned. And then he's going to date rape her, so that's cool. Fucking Bill Cosby up in here. Who knew Bill Cosby was a ninja?
I was having this discussion with Dana about how I'm constantly surrounded by good jokes, just not the right audience.
I have perky tits. That's a reason not to kill me.
This is some fucking Lovecraftian bullshit going on right here.
No, if it was Lovecraftian, it'd be cool. This is dumb. This is some Egyptian bullshit. Also, why is the one female ninja now wearing a fucking sports bra and like nothing else? She went from a literal bodysuit to I'm gonna walk around with my tits out.
Dude, you don't have the suit on, you need to hold those bad boys up.
Now
That's why I'm currently working on my own invention. It's called the sports bra for men. And it's going to hold our balls up for us.
The man's I was gonna say I could get on board with that if the dudes were also walking around without their shirts on, which is on brand for this cartoon. If you remember, when fucking El Ghul and Batman fight, this is a weird moment. Batman just makes the guy think he's gonna fucking die because bats attack him. Like Batman kidnapped this guy, took him to the cave, threatened to drop him down a fucking essentially bottomless pit. But he's the hero.
Yeah. Rich white guy.
Exactly. I have a pleasure room. Would you like to see it? It's a fucking cave full of bats. Yeah, look at the dudes. The dudes still have to wear their masks. Meanwhile, Tits McGillicuddy over here.
She likes the support, man. Helps out with the back.
It's not. No, that's not how that works. That's not how any of this works.
I don't know. I mean, I have tits, just not tits that big, so.
It's science.
Then again, my back does hurt.
Well, maybe you need to get yourself a training bra.
I'll get right on that.
I'm a solid B cup.
I will do a photo shoot for you if you design the training bra for me, and at least one of the tits has your face on it.
We're getting into some really, really weird kink here that I'm not comfortable with. So, since all podcasts are ultimately about other podcasts,
Yep.
there's a guy on a podcast I listen to that I have met in Vegas, and he's a man of size, and I think it's been a while, but he actually got the gastric bypass because he's like 6'4", 6'5", but he was also just he was overweight. He's considerably overweight and also incredibly tall. And so he took the plunge on the gastric bypass and he's dropped a bunch of weight. And so then what he decided to do, and for the record, he also reminds me a lot of Yambar, so that's part of why I enjoyed him doing this. He put it out on a couple of the podcasts he was on that I think he actually put a website up. The website might still be up, but that he would give them his size, and he wanted people to send him new in package underwear because all his old underwear didn't fit anymore because he dropped all the weight. And he wanted people to do it. And he said if people did it, he would do a photo shoot or take a picture, I think, just a picture modeling them for people if that's what they wanted. And enough people took him up on it. And he's got a cool bunch of new pairs of underwear. And I'm like, I would do that if anyone wanted to see me in underwear. I mean, I still have the bit on Joe Meets World of if what is it? Is it 100 patrons? Or no, $500, whatever. But if I can buy myself a championship belt, I'll do a boudoir photo shoot just wearing the championship belt and nothing else.
a buddy of mine when it was 2 or 3 Kickstarters ago when all of his stuff came because I had met him and then I finally like contributed to one of his campaigns, got all of his books. So this
Mhm.
huge box came with like I don't know 10 books,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I then took a picture of me butt ass naked covering my body with his comics and sent it to him on I think Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I don't know, a few months ago when he was on the show, he's like, I still have that picture. Like, we could do prints of it. And I was like, if on your next Kickstarter you want to do prints of that, you can send them here. I'll sign them for you. If that gets people to pay for your books, I'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely. My problem is always getting like being able to take the picture of myself by myself because I can't frame things properly because I'm
it
not an insta hoe.
yeah, it takes a lot of effort.
Right, and nobody like I can just sit here and imagine how funny it would be without all the effort because nobody
I
else would appreciate it.
I'm a man who is known to go to much length for a bad joke.
I don't know. I've just done it enough. I've invested money in a bad joke for its own enjoyment, and
Oh yeah.
I'm just too old for it now. We're just like, yeah, no, it's like if other people enjoy it, it's fun, but otherwise, fuck it. Oh, so Jay and I were talking, and we were talking about the store and stuff.
Real quick, Batman's about to get ass raped by a saber-tooth tiger.
Yeah, I mentioned Saber-Tooth Tiger. Um, and so then Jay's just like, well, how do I get to the store? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I know I always mention it, but it's like, and I told him what it was, but I'm like, I don't know if I have it linked anywhere. And I'm like, oh, it's literally on my Facebook profile. So then he's looking, and we're talking through Discord, and all of a sudden he starts laughing, and I go, What'd you get to? He goes, "Good morning, wage slaves," and I'm yes. And then I told him the whole story behind it, and I'm like, I have that mask. I've worn that mask in public.
That's a fantastic mask.
I love it so much. So
I
I
still have the mask too.
when I was when I was doing when I was doing the T-shirt order for Nexus Versary, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get myself a couple other or another T-shirt or two, and I'm gonna get myself some masks, prepare for the future, blah blah blah. And then I'm like, I have this beautiful beard because I was stubborn about that, but whatever. And I'm like, do I really? And the masks, are pricey because I'm getting them custom printed and all that. I'm like, well, do I really? And then I go, wait a minute, why not I do this? So this is what I committed to. I went on Amazon, the evil site, and I ordered a 3-pack of masks, and they showed up, and it was like five, so it ended up being like $5 a mask, and I actually like them. Like of the masks that I've gotten over time, I like these. I like the way they fit. I like the way they feel. They're a good fabric, and they're decent thickness, whatever. And then I ordered myself a bunch of gaiters, neck gaiters, with my designs on them, because I'm like, that's what I wear most of the time anyway. And even when I wear a mask, I'll just wear the gaiter over the cheaper mask, and I have more of my design. So I got a couple gaiters coming that's in the next couple weeks. They're gonna be curious.
And the gators you can use more often.
Yeah, yeah. Either way, and I got and even with like a because I think they said like a single layer or double layer, and like the other ones I have, I can kind of guess like, okay, I think this one's a double layer and this one would be a single layer. Okay, cool. Even with the double layer, they're still cheaper than the other masks they were giving, but that's because like a lot of the masks they were trying to sell, which is great if you want to wear them, have it where you can put the actual filters in and stuff, and it's like, no, that's fine because yeah, I think I've told you like some of the masks I got, and mind you, they sent me wrong ones early on when I ordered mine, when I ordered ours. I don't like the way they fit, and I don't like the way they shift, and that's where when I put a gaiter up over the mask, it holds the mask in place and it covers my face, and it does everything I want it to do.
Yeah.
But And yeah, like you're saying, like in the winter, like now that I have them, I will totally wear gaiters in the winter because it's just nice with the fucking wind. It just cuts the wind.
So I sent you. Everybody can go on my Twitter and see the actual image, but I sent you the image of the um, King Kirby poster I bought,
Yes, yes.
and that sent me down. So when I was editing last week's episode, it sent me down a rabbit hole because in order to find it, I had to basically Google Jack Kirby art
Okay.
prints or something like that, and
Yeah.
it sent me down this rabbit hole of like actual paintings and shit he did.
Yeah.
I was like, I want these all around me.
I know, I know. And that's what people forget is like Kirby was an artist. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he was the king of comics, but like he was an artist. And a lot of those guys were. I mean, I've told you, I've even Bruce Timm, where like, yeah, some of it's cheesecake, but Bruce Timm will also sit there and do like, and some of it'll be pop art, you know, but like he'll sit there and do actual paintings and do, pastels and shit and do like work, like art, you know.
Well, there's one that got somewhat popular recently.
I'm sorry, but this ending is ridiculous too. Where it's just she stole all these jewels. She stole all the fucking jewels. And then made it to Paris. Like, really? Really? Fuck
Teaching us
this
that
episode.
crime does pay.
Right. Fuck this episode. Yeah, especially if you're hanging out with Batman, who's the world's greatest goddamn detective.
No, there's one that became popular recently because of a documentary about Kirby.
Okay.
That was his Galactus. That he actually he did a whole thing of, and I'm like, that's cool because like it's just different enough. It was kind of like a concept painting he did before like they finalized Galactus,
Okay.
so it's a little different. Like that's cool, but then I start going down the rabbit hole of his other stuff, and it's like I would rather have his non-comic stuff.
Yeah.
Like he did some really cool stuff that nobody will
Well,
ever know about.
right. Well, it's like I told you. I think we've talked about it before as well, where it's like I think I found one, or maybe not, but like you know, in the 50s, him and I think him and Simon maybe um did a whole run of romance comics because that was what was big at the time, and they did it on their own and they made a lot of money, and then they just kind of kept going even when the market started to crumble for it. But like there's a whole bunch of romance comics that are drawn by Jack Kirby, and it's like I would love to have one of those just because what the hell. I want to see what this looks like.
And what I love about that image is, I mean, not only does it have like both Marvel and DC stuff, but like Kirby is Kirby when he has the cigar in his mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love that image of him just sitting there with like Thor's hammer and Cap's original shield, just like puffing away at a cigar.
Yeah.
So,
Well, have you ever seen pictures of like young-ish Jack Kirby with the cigar
yeah,
in his mouth?
yeah.
It's just there's something about it where I'm just like, yeah, he was just such a punk. Like he wasn't, but he was. Like he didn't care. He'd scrap with anybody. That's what I was talking. Maybe it was you and me, but I was sure it was somebody else too. Where it's like, Jack Kirby was Captain America. Like Jack Kirby was Steve Rogers. Of like, no, I'm gonna beat the shit out of anybody that's causing trouble. I don't care. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked too, but I'm not gonna let him just be an asshole.
Oh yeah, I don't like bullies. That was completely him. Like,
That's Kirby. That's
yeah,
Kirby, 100%. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm excited for that.
How big
What
is
people, uh, it was. I would have to look up the exact, but it was like a decent print size. So what you like a print you would get at a con or something, maybe a little bit bigger than that.
okay?
But I'm gonna frame it and put up with other stuff. I'm not gonna put it with my collage of posters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, because I have a few other things I want like actually framed and put up.
Yeah. Frame. Even I mean, I think we've talked about this, but even cheap frames, like even if you just get yourself some cheaper, affordable frames and do it yourself, frames make so many things just look so much better. They just give it a good presentation.
Yeah, I usually buy the ones that are a step up above from cheap because there's those cheap ones where like it's not you just take the back out and put the picture in and then put the back in. Like the ones where the sides actually like come off.
Yeah.
You know the ones I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And those ones can go fuck themselves. They're the worst. They never work. So whatever money you're saving, like you didn't save anything because you bought that and then you end up going out and buying a better one
Yeah.
because fuck that frame.
Yeah.
So I always get those. Just because it just adds a little bit something. I mean, I like the collage or poster look. And a lot of the stuff I have like collage is just like random or like, stuff that was given to me.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also some like prints where I'm just like, yeah, this needs to be in a frame. Like all my Alex Ross stuff is all in frames. But speaking of awesome stuff that needs to be framed, where can people find you on the internet?
JoePank.com, JoePanc.com. Got all kinds of links up there. And at the behest of a friend, if you go there, at the top, you'll see a link to the store, and the store will take you directly to joepank.threadless.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Cthulhu Holmes or Joe Pank. Both will get you there. None of you listen, so it doesn't matter. You can find me on Instagram at joepank36. I might be getting back into some stuff that will result in more Instagram postings, so you should follow me. And if you want dirty pictures, you can ask. I don't know if I'll give them to you, but you can always ask. And as always, if you want my other podcast that Chris appears on more frequently than anyone right now, Joe Meets World, up to 3 days early, uncut and unedited, you can go to patreon.com/Joe Pank. Give me as little as $2 a month, and you'll get your own private RSS feed. And there's going to be some bonus content, maybe by the time you're hearing this, maybe after, from some old stuff I recorded with Yambar. So, that'll be fun, and that will be publicly available too, but, I think I'm only going to publish that on the Patreon. So you're going to want to go to Patreon either way to get that one.
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter or FortressComicNews.com. I don't know. Go to patreon.com/FortressComics. Get this show 3 days early. That's a thing you can do. Or something else. Share it with a friend. I don't know. Do something. Do something with your life, everybody. And if you want to, the best way to show your support without having to give me any money, which, I mean, you can still give me money, is to give us a review on Podcatcher or to thumb up the video and YouTube, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. So, everybody, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Ninja, vroom, vroom!